Greetings, cretins! My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday! It's time to dive back into 75mm 1S. Because I like to punish myself. No, but because the tree toppers are so good, 802 33,000 kV from Weebleed, it makes me wonder. So the previous best 1S 75mm setup that I had was on, well, it was kind of split between BetaFPV 1102 22,000s and the Frankenstein 802 33,000s that I thought that I was making, but the tree toppers outperform those 802 33,000s, and so I want to just dive back into it real quick and just kind of make sure that, because the BetaFPV 1102 22,000s are really, really good, and so yeah, I'm gonna do one more. So this is the 802 33,000 kV rig on the Frankenstein motors. The Frankenstein motors are tinywhoop.com 802 33,000 kV Ipomoeas, Ipoptera, Ipomomomomomom. They only have a 1mm motor shaft though. So what I did is I took a set of iGao 802 27,000 kV bells and mated those up to the 33,000 kV stators. And for whatever reason, these don't make nearly as much power as the tree toppers. And so this guy's going to get pulled apart tonight, and we're going to swap on the Beta 1102 22,000s, keep these 1610 propellers, and then we'll fly a battery. I guess I have two. Oh shit, look at me remembering to switch the charger off of storage onto fully charge. We'll screw around in here for like 2 quick batteries tonight. Let's do 4. We'll do 4 75mm batteries and maybe 2 65mm batteries. Just as a reminder that 75mm rigs don't belong inside the house. But then tomorrow I'm gonna rip this thing outside, and that'll be the real test. The 75mm rigs, they really belong outdoors, and so I'm actually super curious to fly these things back to back. I was so blown away by the tree toppers, but it's been a long time since I flew. Every single time I fly a build on the BetaFPV 1102s, I'm shocked at how good they are. Regardless if it's a regular 75mm motor-to-motor 1.6-inch prop frame like this Mobile 7 V4, or if it's the heavier Meteor 75 Pro frame on the 1.8-inch props. I actually just pulled these motors off of the a Meteor 75 Pro frame, and I think that's going to be like the third sort of phase of this test. I'm going to put it on the 1.6-inch setup so that we really just head-to-head compare these motors to the tree toppers, and then I have a feeling I'm going to like the tree toppers better because they're significantly lighter. We're going to get some weights tonight. And then so what I'll do is I'll pull this apart tomorrow after I fly a bunch of batteries between these two guys, because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like this as much. It's just a KV issue. These 1102s are great, but 22,000 kV versus 33,000 kV, right? And so I'll mate these up with the bigger propellers on the heavier frame, and then I'll do another little head-to-head. And we will crown the king Friday. Actually, no stream on Friday. Maggie and I are going to see a Michael Jackson cover band in downtown Atlanta. And so Sunday, I will have a king of 1S 75mm for you guys. I gotta be honest, man. I've spent enough time flying 1S 75mm rigs where I think I'm holding it in my hand right now. I think it is the X12 with a Mobula 7 V4 frame, BT 2.0, tree toppers, Gemfan 1610s for durability, HQ Ultralight 1.6s for lightweight and flight response time, and then Mobula 6 canopy, Runcam Nano 3 camera, whatever antenna you'd like. I think this is it, to be super, super, super honest and not to like kind of spoil the surprise. But let's just do one more round of testing. It's hard for me to kind of like... It was... The reason why I'm pretty sure that I know is that I remember having It was actually this build. This build was on super similar motors to these. And when I compared these tree toppers to this setup with these motors, the tree toppers were significantly better, like a lot better. And the last time I went down this 1S75mm testing road, it was this exact rig versus the BetaFPV 1102 22000s on... I'm pretty sure I did this same thing. I'm pretty sure I put them on a V4, Module 7 V4 frame, and then in the Meteor 75 Pro frame. But it has been a while. It's been almost a year, I think. Now, maybe it's been almost a year. And so, yeah, it doesn't take me very long to swap motors over. And, you know, we haven't talked about 1S75mm rigs in a while. I'm sure there's a bunch of new people in chat. It's a good opportunity to kind of dive back into it. So, real quick, WJ... Oh, wow, this hasn't happened in a while. Hold on. Canon makes the worst software in the world. Come on, you donkeys. Oh, I clicked the button too quick. Here it goes. Here it comes. Nope. That's going to have to do it again now. Come on. Come on, you jackass. There it is. Massive thank you to WJFPV. At the very end of the last live stream, when I was already in the credits, WJFPV sent over a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. Much appreciated. This is a fully crowdfunded live stream. You guys are the only reason that I've been able to do this for the last almost 4 years. As the economy gets driven into the ground, it's getting harder and harder to do this. Believe me, I get it. You know, you guys gotta do what you gotta do to keep food on the table. If you have a couple of extra dollars and you want to see this live stream keep going, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Patreon is the best thing that you can possibly do to support me. Super chats are great, obviously, but Patreon gives you a lot of really nice benefits. Access to a private YouTube playlist with all kinds of good stuff, half-done edits where I ask your guys' opinion over on the Patreon page. Sketchy flying, I don't want to be public. Patreon-only live streams that I've done in the past. There's almost 100 things in that playlist that you're going to get access to. You'll get full access to the Discord. You'll of course get Patreon access. There's a whole bunch of technical articles and like links to spreadsheets that I've got with like all kinds of tiny whoop weights and RPM and data and all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, support me on Patreon. Not this Monday, but the next Monday is a giveaway stream. So like if you're on the $3 a month Patreon tier, you might as well spend an extra $2 and jump up to the $5 tier, because like at some point you'll win, and you'll win $40, $50, $60 worth of tiny whoop stuff, and that'll really easily pay for like many months of that extra $2, right? So there's an awesome way to support me. If you're on the tier that you want to be on, which like let's say it's the $5 a month tier, but you want to give an extra dollar, you can do that. You can change the dollar figure but stay on the same tier. So yeah, if you got a couple extra bucks, throw it my way. I'll keep doing it. You know, it's yeah, it's I for a long time I was dead level, and I have not been dead level this year, unfortunately, and it gets a little bit scary when that happens. So yeah, Etsy store, you can buy yourself something nice. It's almost Friday. Maybe you get paid. You want to treat yourself. You deserve it. There's a Teespring store where you can buy some fun shirts. There's a whole bunch of there's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me if you really want to learn a lot really fast. And then there's a bunch of affiliate links. Try to use affiliate links every time you buy anything on the internet. If they're not my affiliate links, use somebody else's. It's, you know, it's a challenge to be content creators nowadays, and we do rely on the affiliate links. So try to use someone's affiliate links every time you buy something on the internet. Pretty much every website has an affiliate program. There are a couple that don't, but yeah, ton of affiliate links over on CiottiFPV.com. Support me, and I'll tell you what to buy, what not to buy, so that you have a better experience and you stop buying shit that catches on fire and waste your money and your time. Cool? In the chat, FizzPV was first, McShaky, Royal, Mike K, Nyafu, Andrew Taylor, Frank Nicholas, Alec Dvornik, Mr. Clean, Jason Levin, Danzilla the Terrible, Scotty Scott, can I get a channel? Whoop Fox. All of a sudden, Stream Elements is working again. That's interesting. Last 2 streams, all of a sudden, Stream Elements is popping up. It hasn't popped up in like a year. Skull 901. Where are we at here? Sleepy CBR, Pacific North Whoop. Project Mockingbird, Bind and Fry. I like that. Rax, Cole Powers, FizzPV. I think I got everybody. Thanks for hanging, friends. If you want to talk directly to me, never mind. If you want to talk directly to me, type CiottiFPV into your chat message. For me, it'll light up an orange. If you're trying to get somebody's attention in the chat, type their name and spell it correctly, and for that person, it'll light up an orange. You could even do it for yourself. Type your own name, you'll see. It lights up an orange in your chat message. Mike K says, what color do you paint your PVC gates? I don't have any PVC gates. But, I mean, if you're going to be painting PVC gates, you might as well do it in a fluorescent color so that you can fire some black lights at them, right? That's my opinion. Yeah, I've never made a PVC gate. They've always seemed to me to be like way too rigid to the point like if you smash anything into them, it's gonna just explode. You know, I've never really done any racing with anything. Period. I have a load of tiny whoop gates, but I really like these nylon gates because when you hit them, they give, and you don't break anything. Beginning of the live stream was some more Castle Smash, as somebody wrote in chat, footage with the Hummingbird V4. We're coming towards the end. We are nearing the end of the Castle Crash flight footage. So beginning and end of every single live stream since Castle Crash, I've been playing basically one battery at the beginning of the stream, one battery at the end of the stream. I'm just letting it roll through all the flight footage that I got. So you guys are getting to see every single freestyle battery that I flew at Castle Crash. Project Mockingbird says, I think those 802s are called the Tiny Whoop Tylenols. Jesus. Bind and Fry, make sure you type CiottiFPV. I just happened to see you type my name there because it was right next to Project Mockingbird, who did tag me. Bind and Fry says, Ciotti, thoughts on 1003 motors on 2S75? 1003 motors are super interesting, but I think they're bigger than necessary on a 75 millimeter motor to motor 1.6 inch prop frame. I have 2. Speaking of, what an awesome segue. This is one of the 2 75 millimeter 1.6 inch prop 2S analog builds that I did. I've had this 3D printed canopy here that Tokyo Dom actually designed. I've had this thing forever. It's designed to hold an Insta360 Go 2. The problem with it is, look at all that up tilt. That's like 30 or even 40 degrees of up tilt. The reason why it's like that is to keep the ducts out of view, I think, of the Insta360 Go 2. Any less up tilt than this, and there'd be a whole bunch of duct in view, and that's kind of silly. This was an analog freestyle build, and then I remembered that I had this canopy, and I said, you know what, let me try it. I flew it a couple of times with the Insta360 Go 2. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, you got to go really fast with this all the time because of all that up tilt. And it's a small little build. Like, a small little build you don't want to go fast with. The whole point of a small build is that you can go really slowly and really accurately, and it's lightweight and all that jazz. So I think I'm kind of done with this canopy. And I'm going to change this back over into another 75 millimeter 2S analog build. This build, for example, is on 1002 18,000 kV T motors, which is they're motor limited down a little bit, like 85% or maybe even 90%. I remember I turned the motor limiting up a little bit because of the extra 26 grams of the Insta360 Go 2 on here. And so this is a perfect example. This thing flew totally fine, even with an extra 26 grams of camera and probably like another 4 or so grams of TPU here on a 1002. These motors did not overheat. They had plenty of power. And so a 1003, not really necessary, right? Especially if you were to do a 2S 75mm build without the extra 30 grams of camera and canopy. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to pop this canopy off of here and make this back into an analog 2S Thrasher build that I can just pound the living shit out of. I do have one 2S analog build right now, and it's on the 802 19,000 kV motors. It's kind of cool to have one on the 802s and then one on these 1002s. I think I kind of wish that I had a better way of mounting. Well, I sort of do. The tiny lifters mount the Insta360 Go 2 up on top sideways. The problem with that setup is that the camera sits up really high, although it kind of sits up really high on this setup too. The problem with this setup is that the camera body itself is hanging way the hell out the top here, and so every time you crash, the body of the Insta360 Insta360 Go 2 just gets annihilated. And so, and like with these smaller builds, the point is to like shoot tight gaps and fly them kind of hard. And so like, I don't know, this is really cool, but I don't know what to do with it. Like I can't fly it slow enough to fly it in tight spaces where small rigs are really well suited for. I don't like shooting gaps with it because I have to go so fast that if I miss the gap, it's going to obliterate the camera, and you can't get the Insta360 Go 2 anymore. So, yeah, as cool as this setup is, I kind of think I need to take it apart and do something else with it. So, yeah, there's a sort of answer to your question. I literally left this thing out as a reminder to, because I haven't flown it. Like, I flew, I don't know, maybe 5 batteries with it, with the Insta360 Go, and I started to notice that I was leaving all kinds of marks and scrapes and shit on the Insta360 Go 2, and I like that camera. I don't want to kill it. It's a really nice camera for the live broadcast rigs. Although I won't really need it for the live broadcast rigs anymore because they're going to have 04 in them. So, yeah, I don't know. The Insta360 Go 2 is a really cool little camera, but like, I don't use it all that much because I don't want to break it. It's so weird. Like I have it, and every time I use it, I'm like, man, this thing is like really decent. What I should use it for is like B-roll-ish stuff. I have a couple of the mounts for it on the. I have one mount on the visor of the up above my sun visor in my car. I have another mount on the rear window of the car. What I should start doing with that camera is wear my fucking lav mic, which is sitting right here, and then just put that thing into the. It's like they're like magnetic mounts. Throw it into the mount. Record, say like, yo, I'm going to such and such a spot to fly bing bong and fling flong, and then just drop that into the beginning of an edit and put the flight footage after it, and hey, a little bit more production value where I, like, you know, but I'll never do that. I should do that. I need to do that. I want to do that. I don't need to do that. I want to do that. But yeah, I think this canopy needs to come off here. It's just it's too much up tilt. Yeah, I'm not gonna use it. What am I gonna use this for? What would I use it for? It's also really hard to get the Insta360 Go 2 into and out of this mount. It's like excruciatingly difficult, and like to the point where like I'm worried I'm going to break the lens of the Insta360 Go 2 off. So yeah, I think this thing needs to come apart. But yeah, there you go. That's what I think about 1003 motors on 2S 75mm. Where a 1003 motor does make a lot of sense is on a 2-inch build. This is the 04 2S 2-inch setup. It is on Happy Model 1103 11,000s. RC and Power made a 1003 14 or 15,000 kV motor that would probably be every bit as good, if not better, than these Happy Model 1103 11,000s. So yeah, a 2-inch setup would be a much better for a 1003 motor than a 1.6-inch prop setup. If there was a Meteor 75 Pro frame that you could put a 2S battery into, then those 1003s might be really good on that 1.8-inch prop. I would probably not do that, though, because the only propellers that are any good that are 1.8-inch are the HQ Ultralights that are very fragile. And I would not trust those 1.8-inch HQ Ultralights with all that power of 2S 1003 or 1103. So yeah, 2S is the way to go for a 1003 motor. Good question, Bind and Fry. And hysterical name. Project Mockingbird says, no Air 2 frame for the 1102s is such a great frame and light AF. I've actually been told that the Air 2 frame is impossibly fragile. There's a Reddit post with a bunch of people complaining about the Air75 V2 frame. And maybe they're all dumb and don't know what they're talking about, but boy, there were a lot of people in there. If it's just like one or two people, I'm always just like, yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. But there were like 4 or 5 people in there saying that they broke their Air75 V2 frames within 5 batteries. A couple of guys, I think 2 guys were saying they broke them on like the first and second batteries. So, yeah. The next time I have to do an order from a website that sells the Air75 V2 frame, I will absolutely buy one. But I have not done an order on a website that sells it. I had asked BetaFPV to send me one, and they said they were going to, along with the Light Radio 2 sim, but instead they sent me the Air65 V2 frames. And so, yeah. I don't think that the Air75 V2 is that much lighter than the Mobula 7 V4 frame. I think it's like 1 point something grams lighter. That's not nothing, but that's not a deal breaker. If it's fragile, that is a total deal breaker. This Mobula 7 V4 frame is very sturdy, very strong. Not indestructible, but really, really good. Rex says, it's actually Rex Sumchi, but I'm always afraid I'm going to say it wrong, so I just say Rex. He says, you should get a new camera. Why does Canon always show EOS utility? Canon's EOS utility software just sucks. The most recent versions of it are just really bad. I don't know why. It's a problem that's all over the internet. I wish I could afford a new camera, but shoestring budget. It's tough to be a content creator that hasn't had like some video go viral and get them hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I absolutely love doing this, and so I will continue to do it happily. But I'm not a content creator that just has money pouring out of his ears. I make around 40,000 a year, which is not very much when you consider that there's 2 kids in this house. It's a pretty big fancy house, and yeah, so that's why I don't get a new camera. Project Mockingbird says, let's start the Get CI a Red Komodo fund for live streaming. I used to work. Oh my god, did you really? Oh my god, that's cool. Man, Red makes some incredible stuff. FizzPV says, did you see the hashtag 6 batteries iterations I sent you? I didn't, man. I'm sorry. I'm behind on a bunch of stuff at the moment. Yeah, this has been a tough week for me, mental health wise. But I kind of think I might be coming out of it. So fingers crossed for the next few days that I'll rise from the ashes. Mike K says, I don't remember if you saw a difference between 1.2 and 1.4 props. Is it worth it to build a 1.4? Is it worth it is an impossible question to answer because everybody's different. There is absolutely a difference between 1.2 inch and 1.4 inch props. And it's exactly what you think it is. The 1.4 inch props are heavier, but they're more floaty. And so a 1.2 inch build is going to be more crisp. Like the response time is better because the propellers are lighter weight. And it's got plenty of power for plenty of hang time. The 1.4 inch build is going to have a slower response time. It's not so slow that it's like excruciating in the way that like a 1.6 inch prop kind of rig is indoors. But it's slower and it's more floaty when you come off the throttle. And so if you want like a smoother slower paced kind of flying experience inside the house, the 1.4 setup is really fun. You know, you should build one because all you have to do is buy a Meteor 65 Pro frame, which is like $4, and depending on whatever motors you've got. So the 1.4 inch builds need to be lightweight. I've tried to make 1.4 inch prop tiny whoops work many times over the last few years. The problems were initially that the only 1.4 inch propellers that were available were out of balance, and then the problem was that eventually Gemfan made the 35mm propeller, which is really well balanced and it's a great propeller. But when that prop came out, the problem that I had was that it was still the build that I was doing was too heavy. I assumed that an 0702 wouldn't be a big enough motor for that bigger, heavier, draggier propeller. And I was kind of right. You do lose a significant amount of response time with the bigger, heavier, draggier propeller. But when you pair it with a 702, which I recently realized, but you don't lose so much response time that it kind of sucks to fly. It feels lazier than when you have it paired with a 1.2 inch prop for sure, but it's still totally flyable and it's really fun. And so all you need to do is get the frame and the propellers. If you've got 702 motors that are 1mm motor shaft, just get the frame and two sets of the Gemfan 35mm S props. If you have a 702 that's got a 1.5mm motor shaft, then you're going to get the HQ 1.4 by 1.1, I think it is, by 3 triblade propeller. That's the only 1.4 inch prop with a 1.5mm motor shaft. So yeah, depending on which 702s you've got, that's gonna get the right prop for that motor shaft. And so yeah, you're in there for like less than $10. Well, about $10. And you just pull your rig apart, bolt those motors down to the Meteor 65 Pro frame, throw the bigger props on, and give it a shot. There's kind of no reason not to. It's some of the most fun that you'll have for like $10-11. And it'll really make you appreciate the difference in response time and float and speed of smaller props versus bigger props on the exact same setup. You know what I mean? Like it's really cool to see that play out. What are you growling about? Your bad haircut? Are you upset about your terrible haircut you got today, buddy? Could you guys hear that? I think he's sleep growling. You sleeping, buddy? What a weirdo. I took him to get groomed today, and we waited a little bit too long, and he got too matted, and they had to shave him down, and now he looks absolutely ridiculous. This has happened a bunch of times now, and I just, it's tough, but I love him less when he looks like this. Does that make me a bad person? Yeah. But I'm only human. He looks like a rat terrier or something now. He's got this, like, it looks like basically the dog right now is the head of a miniature schnauzer connected to a gray loaf of Myers potato bread with 4 toothpicks sticking out the bottom. It's absolutely absurd. He looks just awful. Here's a picture that that Little Boo took earlier today. Look at him. Look at these legs, dude. What is happening here? It looks like a severed head attached to a different dog body. I hate that it's my fault. Dude, it's $80 to get him groomed. And so, like, I'm not going to do that, like, every month. It's too much, dude. Dogs are a nightmare. That's why I like cats, man. You put a fucking box in the corner with sand in it, they shit in it. What happened here? Now I'm getting old, bro. Falling apart. I'm exhausted. I slept like shit last night. All right. Cole Power says, that's more than 45 degrees to me. Insane for a tiny whoop. Yeah, it just, like, the flight experience is like you take off and you're looking up at the sky and you're like, shit. And so you put the nose down and then it's just going. And you're just going real fast the whole time. And, like, it doesn't make sense to do that with a tiny whoop. Like, if you want to go that fast, you might as well fly a bigger build, right? A bigger build will go really fast like that more comfortably. Like, it won't get pushed around by the wind as bad. And so, yeah, this is going to come apart. What'll be cool about this, though, is that if I have 2 analog 2S 1.6-inch prop builds, then I will pound the ever-loving balls out of one of them because I'll have the other one. And it's going to be this one because I realized the other day that I accidentally bought a second extra 1002 18,000 kV motor. So I've got 2 extra motors for this damn thing. So yeah, this is going to get absolutely hammered. I think what I'm going to do is bring this to a bunch of jungle gyms and just absolutely cane it. And I'll inevitably break one of these. Finally, break one of these Mobula 7 V3 frames. I've not broken a 1.5 millimeter motor yet, so that'll kind of be cool. I'll break one of the motors eventually, I'm sure. But in the process, I'll get some pretty cool shit. 2S75 at a jungle gym. It's a bit much. I actually really like 65 millimeter 1S builds at jungle gyms because the jungle gyms are really small, but they get pushed around by the wind like absolute crazy. So this will do a lot better in the wind. It'll have so much power that I'll be able to, like, power loop the entire jungle gym and, like, go play in the treetops around the jungle gym and shit like that. And so that could be pretty cool. That could be a fun little edit, maybe. We'll see. Striker's in the house. What's up, dude? Rack says, how are you live broadcasting the Go 2? That's so cool. No, so I put the Go 2 on the live broadcast rigs in order to actually record some HD footage. The live broadcast setup at the moment, I have a full 04 setup that I just need to find the time to build. But currently, and for the past 3 years, the live broadcast setup has been on Vistas. And with the Vistas, when you output to the smart controller and then out to the TV truck, there's no way to record. You cannot record DVR at all. And so I go to all these incredible events, and I have no way of recording any footage. Well, eventually I realized, hey, there's a mount for the QAVS and the AOS Cine 2.5, the old school one, for the Insta360 Go 2. So I started slapping that onto those builds for a couple of batteries, and then I would have that's any of the footage that you've seen on my Instagram of me chasing the cyclists. Just chasing the cyclists, I guess. Has been from that. And so that's kind of what that Insta360 Go 2 has been used for. I really haven't used it for anything else. I feel bad using it for freestyle because I've already broken one of them and I can't get a replacement now. And so it's like, what am I going to do with this thing? It's such a cool little camera, but like it's kind of finicky and it's kind of annoying. The battery life is like insanely short. And yeah, it's not super durable. And so it's like, what am I going to do with this thing? What I would like to do with it is get a helmet mount. And next time I go-karting or autocrossing, I could put it inside the helmet. It fits. If your visor is up, it fits in like the little pocket on the side of the visor right here. And it's a really, really, really cool point of view. What we usually do is hang a GoPro off the side, but then it's hanging all the way out here, so it doesn't really look at your gauges. It looks at the center cluster. With the Insta360 Go being right here, it's like lined up with the gauges, and it's a really, really, really cool perspective. So basically, the Go 2 is just going to sit on the shelf. Scotty Scott says, bought a 2G4, and I'm having a hell of a time trying to get it to bind. It's the version 3.3 in Betaflight. I hit bind receiver tab. The light starts blinking fast on the 2G4, showing it's in bind mode. Sounds like you might have a ELRS mismatch, ELRS version mismatch. Make sure that the version of ELRS on your transmitter or module jives with the version of ELRS that's on the 2G4. I think you just basically need to be on 3 point something on your module or on your transmitter. Project Mockingbird says they're all dumb or the orange ones are special. I've been hammering mine, no issues. Went through way more V1s in the same type of flying. They are all dumb or the orange ones are special. Oh, the Air75 V2. Okay. Went through way more V1s in the same type of flying. Yeah, the Air75 V1 was very fragile. Much better battery tray in the Air 2 as well. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try one, but the Mobula 7 V4 frame has been totally fine for me, so I'm okay with it. But I will try one at some point. Scotty Scott says, then I hit bind on my radio and the lights on the 2G4 so it's bound, but the radio does not. Oh, you might have this weird problem where okay, so put your transmitter into binding mode, hit the bind button in Betaflight. When they say that they're bound, hit the refresh button in Betaflight and then hit the save button. I have no idea why sometimes you have to do that, but sometimes you have to do that. It's super strange. So get it bound like it sounds like you're already doing, and then refresh and then save. I bet you that'll fix the problem. Super weird. Nyafu says, what 0702 set should I put on the Weebleed themed 65mm? I want to build myself something to absolutely rip with. My favorite 702 motors are the Screamers, the Weebleed Screamers, 0702, 32,500. kV. You can get them either in 1mm shaft or 1.5mm shaft. If it's a 65 mil motor to motor 1.2 inch prop build, you're going to want the 1mm motor shaft because there are no propellers out that are any good for the 1.5mm motor shafts. There are the Gemfan 1210s, but they're not all that great compared to the new crop of 1.2 inch props. Josh B says, what 1S analog AIO do you think has the clearest picture / least noise? Happy Model 2G4. What do you consider a durable AIO anyway? Happy Model 2G4. How many batteries is acceptable with how you fly in the house? If you're on the 2G4, seemingly an infinite number. Oh wait, how many batteries? Are you talking about like, if you're talking about like how many batteries before the thing blows up? Yeah, the 2G4s don't really blow up. If you're talking about like how many batteries should you buy to fly around the house? At least 6. Because like you then get a Vi-Fly Whoopster which charges 6 at a time. So you put them on the charger, you start flying them. As they come off the quad, you put them back on the charger, and like 6 batteries, you can damn near fly infinitely. So yeah, at least 6 batteries, if that was the question that you're asking. Where's the button? I stole that from Mighty Car Mods. You should go subscribe to their channel. It's the best automotive channel on the internet. I just got a Bamboo Labs, what is this? 0.6 millimeter nozzle. Apparently, these help out a ton with the TPU clogging issues on the Bamboo Labs A1 Mini. And you still get pretty much the exact same quality printing. So, Josh, if it's okay, which I have a feeling it is because it's already been like a week and a half since you placed your order. I want to try to print the McStinky mount that I was having all those problems with. I finally did get one to print clean, but I want to print one more for you with this nozzle, and I want to compare it to this one. And I figure, you know, I'll then throw in a bunch of extra, at least one extra canopy for you, hopefully in even better quality, as a bonus for you waiting for so long for me to get the goddamn thing to print clean. So yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about this. This is just basically going to be my TPU nozzle, and then the 0.4 nozzle that's in there right now is going to be my PETG nozzle. And so that's kind of nice. That'll be nice to have one nozzle for each different filament. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And then I can't believe how quick this showed up. But I actually, when I was showing you guys the like weirdly eaten away at soldering iron tip the other day, I'd forgotten that I'd ordered a replacement from eBay, and so I've got a new soldering iron tip here, and I think ETB is the right one. They only sell them in 2 packs. Yep, that's the one. So if you have a Weller soldering iron, like mine, I have the Weller 1010, the ETB is the stock soldering iron tip that it comes with, and I really like the normal tip, the normal flat-bladed tip. I've used all the different style tips. This is absolutely my favorite. In the little kit, it came with ETB and ETD. ETD is just quite a bit bigger. So if I'm ever doing like giant work, which I never will, I can use this guy. But ETB is the way to go. It's like the best of all worlds. It's got a nice little flat spot on it. I mean, the whole thing is kind of flat, and that's cool because you get a nice contact patch, but then it's got sharp corners, and then it's got like the nice little flat tip. So you can do really fine work at a 45-degree angle. You can transfer a whole bunch of heat if you hold it flat like this, or you can do somewhere in between if you bring it straight down on the flat part. It's just, yeah, it's the way to go. ETB if you have a Weller soldering iron. Exciting. This is the first time, this is the first time, I'm going to change I'm actually going to do it right now, because I was using it earlier today, and the dent, let me show you guys the dent so you don't have to, I swear to God, the dent got worse overnight too. The dent is something else entirely. Look at this absolute madness. Ready? Look at that, yo! Look at that! I've been using this soldering iron tip forever, for like 4 or 5 years. And look, it's starting on the other side too. See the little thing starting on the other side? Look at that, yo! What on earth? That's somebody that's been soldering a lot. What's interesting is as soon as you tin the tip, the solder kind of fills in that little valley. And it's actually kind of nice. I was tinning wires, and I was just putting the little wire in the little valley. It was kind of cool. I'm going to save this tip. This is going to be my tip tinning tip. Wire tinning tip. Not tip tinning tip. That doesn't make any sense at all. Is this soldering iron off? It is indeed. No, I'm never going to use this tip again. But I am going to save it because it's crazy looking. To change the tips on these things, you just unscrew the thing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Has this thing been in here so long I'm not going to be able to get it out? Oh my God, I might not be able to get this out. Holy shit, hold on. Was it like... Oh God, it's like... become one with the... Holy shit, dude. It's become one with the collar here. Oh my God. Hold on. This is Jeremy Clarkson, this shit. Oh, this is gonna break it. Shit. This is gonna break the tip off, isn't it? I don't want to do that. Oh my God, dude. I waited way too long to do this. Is that... maybe that's just solder up there. Maybe if I heat this thing up, I can clean it up here, and maybe that will get all this... it's like slag between the bing bong and the fling flong. You know what I mean? What's happening here? Why is this just spinning like this? What are you doing, little buddy? Is this stripped out? What's happening here? Get off of there! Okay, now we're fine. Oh. It was not going through the I see. User error. Or is it? What's this plastic collar doing? It's whatever, it's fine. Yeah, let me turn it on, and I'm going to see what's what here. Let it get some temperature into it. So yeah, new tip life, bro. What do you think of that? Project Mockingbird says, I wonder if an analog version of the Mobula 8 Freestyle HD would rock on 1003, 80mm frame, 45mm props. Ever considered that? Yeah, kind of, sort of. Here's the thing, though. The 75mm 1.6-inch prop 2S builds absolutely rail. Like, I don't need any more than this. And so I've never actually done it. I continue to be super impressed by the 2-inch 2S build, but it's got all the extra weight of 04 and the ND filter and the heavy canopy and all that shit. And so it makes sense because it's picking up all that extra weight. For like a 2S analog build, I guess like if you live somewhere that's super windy, maybe you'd want to go that route, but I don't know about that because as the frame gets bigger, it becomes a bigger parachute. This might actually still be the way to go because it's smaller and it's going to catch less of the wind and it's still got all the power in the world. So, like, I don't know. That's a tough one. It's super tempting to go down that road, but man, this setup on the 1.6-inch props has all the power, and it's nice and lightweight. And like the whole point of this is to shoot tiny little gaps, and like the lightweight is really the way to go for that. So I'm so happy with the way that these fly that I don't know if I'm ever going to go down that road. But it won't fly bad. I don't know if it'll fly any better than that guy. Denzel the Turbo says Teddy doesn't look awful. You take that back. It's called fashion. Look it up. Oh, it's not fashion. He looks like it's not fashion. Compared to the way he looked yesterday, he do not look good right now. Sappy4 says, what is currently best flight controller for 1S whoops in your opinion? Durability is my priority. I don't need motor plugs. I want to direct solder motors. I have only experience with BetaFPV flight controllers. Happy Model 2G4, which is not really set up for direct soldering, but you don't want to direct solder anyway. It's annoying. There's not much of a benefit. The 1mm motor shafts not break, but they bend really often. You know, you said that durability is really important to you. That means you're going to crash hard. Crashing hard with 1mm motor shafts bends a lot of them, and so you need to replace the motors fairly often. And when the motors are direct soldered, you don't replace them when you should, because it's such a pain in the ass to desolder them and to take the whole goddamn thing apart to do that. And B, it's going to take you a lot longer to do that. So yeah, stick with motor plugs. Happy Model 2G4 is absolutely the way to go if you're looking for durability. Let's see if I can. Here's the problem, like right around here, like the tip should let go from this piece, but there's all like slag and shit up in there. So let me try this. Let me try to like clean the top part of it. I'm even going to take a little bit of flux and put it like right on the joint here. This ought to be interesting. I've never put flux directly on the soldering iron. This is probably a bad thing to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if that's doing anything, but I did it. All right, now let's put it back in here. I might need to buy a replacement collar piece because I waited so long to to change the damn tip. Did that do anything? That doesn't seem to have done anything. I'm tempted to put some solder up there. I mean, I might as well, because I think I'm going to have to replace this piece. So let's see. Let's put some solder up there. Oh, you know what? It's not going to be. Is it not going to be hot enough up there to melt the solder? It's not. Shit. Well, maybe. Oh my god, it's so oxidized. Okay, so that's just a ton of oxidization. Wait, yeah, oxidization. Oxidized. I do have this tip cleaner shit. I wonder if I can... Can I get this nozzle down in there far enough? Not really. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if this will help. What's that doing? Anything? I watched the movie Warfare last night. It kind of sucked. Yeah, that didn't do jack shit. This fucking thing is, this tip is welded to this collar here. That sucks. Well, I'll take it out into the garage and get medieval with it after the live stream, but that ain't coming off. I can already tell. There's so much like oxidization slash slag slash whatever. That's just, that's jank. I guess I could hit it with the torch. I mean, it's already... I'm going to hit it with the torch once it's off the soldering iron, because I don't want to be putting the torch up. There's a ceramic heating element in there. I don't want to fuck that up. Yo, P. Richard Scott's in the house. What's up, brother? YouTube did the thing. Scrolled me back down. I'm scrolling back up to try to find my place. Seppi4, you're going to absolutely love Happy Model AIOs in comparison to BetaFPV AIOs. Big difference. Josh Bergeron says, okay, I'll get a 2G4 to try. If they're that durable, thanks. You're certainly welcome. Scotty Scott says, I tried the refresh trick to no avail. I guess it's a mismatch. This is where I'm weak in skills. It's all right, man. Got lots of people in here to help you out. Flagadelic says, Teddy looks like the... That's it! He looks like the Lorax. I knew there was a... I knew there was something that he looked like. Holy shit, he looks like Lorax. That's it. Yo! Not the actual Lorax, but there's creatures in the Lorax. Where are those spindly-legged creatures in the Lorax? Where are they at? Oh, man. Where are the spindly creatures in the Lorax? I mean, he kind of does look like... No, you know what he does look like? The Lorax. He's got the beard and everything. Maybe it's not... There's a cartoon character that has spindly little legs. Is it like Ren and Stimpy, maybe? Yeah, kinda. There's a cartoon character that has like a big loaf body and then like little stick legs that I can't quite think of what it is, because I don't watch an awful lot of cartoons or any. Striker says, I want to build a small open prop top speed rig with Aero. Why? It's not going to go very fast. I'm going to print a 3D printed shell, PLA or PP, since I'm not crashing it ever. I'm debating 2S, 1S, 40mm prop, 31mm, 35. I mean, in my opinion, you want to go as big as possible, because the smaller you go, the slower it's going to be. And, like, what's the point if it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, to go through all that work for a top speed rig, and then it only goes 50 miles an hour because it's 1S on a 31mm propeller. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't necessarily see the point. Go at least like 3-inch or something would be my opinion, but that's just me. Off Axis says, I'm pretty sure you have to take the black collar off when cold and then take off the whole metal tube before the tip can come off. I have one of these. Use pliers now that it's hot. You know, I was thinking of trying now that it's hot, but the whole damn tube is kind of hot. Yeah, even the black collar is like boiling fucking hot. Ugh. Yeah, no, I can't do shit with this. It's too hot. I mean, I can see where the seam is. It's just they're just together. They are one. Oh, there it goes. Huzzah, MFers. Well, now I'm screwed because this thing is 11 billion degrees, and I can't. Oh shit! What do I do here? I need another set of pliers. Okay. So, well, it's silicone, I guess, so it's fine, right? All right. So there's the old tip. Here's the new one. Oh, look at that shiny. Fuck. Yo, let's solder something. There we go. Keep this guy moving around a little bit here. And let's put this in the little soldering station as a reminder. What happens when you don't change your tip for too long? That's some crazy shit, man. I was about to break. How many people do you know that have soldered so much that they almost broke a soldering iron tip? Just me, yo. I don't know if I should be celebrating that, though. Oh, man, look at how fancy. This is going to solder like $1 million. Love to know why this plastic collar is making this odd clicking sound and spinning around in the way that it's spinning around. It's kind of weird. But, I mean, it's tight. It's fine. Whatever. I think it's, like, weirdly stripped out or something, to be honest. But whatever. It's fine. Look at that! Oh, my God. That's quite satisfying to have a new tip on there. Shiny tip life, am I right? Good call on the pliers now that it's hot. FizzPV says, The Kane Mutiny is a killer movie. I've never heard of that. What's The Kane Mutiny? Oh, God. Old. Old. Good Lord. I have a hard time watching movies that are quite that old. I had to watch a bunch of like really old shit when I was in college. Seppi4 says, I'm super surprised of what you said about motor plugs. I've been having issues with motor stuttering after a while. And after I direct solder them, it's like night and day. Yeah, I've had better luck. I've direct soldered motors and I've used motor plugs hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times over the last 8-9 years that I've been tiny whooping, and I've actually had better luck with motor plugs. Direct soldered motors always break at the AIO, and then it's way earlier than the motor plugs. I don't know if maybe I'm just more careful with the motor plugs, but yeah, I've had better luck with the plugs. But the big thing with motor plugs is that it makes swapping motors so much easier that when a motor shaft starts to get bent, I'm willing to change the motor out because it's like 3 minutes of work versus having to rip the whole thing apart to get the AIO out of it to properly solder the motor. I do not, for a while, I played that game of like, all right, well, I can just lift the AIO up a little bit and then try to get the soldering iron in there. Well, I found that doing that, you never get a very good solder joint, and then it breaks off even quicker from where the wire meets the AIO. And so, yeah, to me, it's the motor plugs are the way to go. But that's just me. You know, I do a lot of testing. I do a lot of swapping motors back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I crash pretty hard. And so motor shafts bend long before the motor connectors let go for me. But everybody's different. You do you. The Bruce says it unscrews at the handle, whole hot end comes apart. Yeah, it's basically like one big... Whatever. You guys just saw it. Striker says the point is to break a record, essentially either 1S top speed, which is 80 kilometers, or maybe prop size top speed because breaking records is fun and I want them in max. Fair enough. I didn't know that anybody was setting speed records with the small stuff. I thought the only stuff I've ever seen is like, you know, the 300, what are they at, 380 now on that 5-inch crazy setup. I didn't know that anybody was actually keeping track of any records with small stuff. Bernard Fox likes Teddy's stash. He says, "Oh yeah, Lorax, lol." I could even go 1S 3-inch, honestly. 1S 3-inch, that'd be tough to fly. That's going to be brutal. It'd be very efficient, though. Whoop Fox says, other than the X12, what's other analog 2S AIO out there that's good? The BetaFPV one is discontinued, so you can't get that one anymore. Analog. Oh, the HDLRC. The HDLRC Spectre, I think, is the only other one that's out there. And oddly enough, it's been totally fine. It's what's in this build, actually. And yeah, it's been working fine. Nope, it's not in this build. It's in the other one. But yeah, HDLRC Spectre. The X12 is better, though. But if for some reason you can't get the X12, yeah, the HDLRC Spectre, I believe it's called. It says that it's a 1S or 2S AIO. It doesn't work on 1S, but it does work on 2S. Super weird. Bernard Fox says, I have HDZero AIO15 flash BF452 motors twitch one arm, not idling. I have to throttle up from the spin, then it takes off. Refreshed, haven't downgraded to Blue Jay 16 yet. Yeah, try Blue Jay 16. You can also 1.6 rather, if the version is right. And then you can also just try upping the idle. If you're using digital idle, try not using digital idle. Just use the regular idle in the motors tab, and just keep increasing it. And yeah, you should get to the point where they'll spin reliably. Sometimes you have to increase it quite a bit, like 10, 12, 14. Scotty Scott says, burned out many 1,000-degree tips working on slot cars. Slot cars, man, I love it. Denzel the Terrible says, just started to rewatch a rewatch of Expanse. See the Rossi I printed in general nonsense. Let me see. The only thing that I miss about not having Amazon Prime is the Expanse. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. That's insane. Yo. Wow. That's really cool, dude. Wow. The detail on that is incredible. That looks great. Hell yeah. Damn, dude. That's awesome. Holy shit. All right. What else we got here? Project Mockingbird says, I just had to solder on a Racespec V2 motor wire back on this weekend. It was not a fun thing. Motor plugs for the win. Hell yeah. See? Project Mockingbird knows what's up. Yeah, I dread the day that my Racespec breaks a motor wire off, having to direct solder that the winding material onto an AIO is, I assumed, is not very fun. Wolf Fox says, can't find the X12 in ELRS in stock, just plug and play or FR Sky. That sucks. Project Mockingbird says, idea for another stream, show people how to upgrade an SPI non-Wi-Fi flight controller like the 2G4 that might still be shipping with ELRS V2 point whatever. That's a good idea. Yeah. Non-Wi-Fi. You know, I'll tell you what though, well, if anybody's wondering what the answer to that is, go to Google and type in ELRS web flasher. This has made it so incredibly easy. This is what you're looking for, Express LRS web flasher. And then, my God, this has just changed things so much. This is such an amazing tool here. So you would do receiver, and then you would pick your firmware version, and then hardware vendor is going to be Happy Model. It's going to be 2.4, and then I forget. Oh, here it is. Yep, Happy Model AIO 2.4 RX plus VTX. You would hit this, and then next, and then put your binding phrase in here, and then it won't let me do it without one hooked up, but you just follow the prompts. You'll hit next, you'll connect to it, and away you go. It's shockingly straightforward. Yeah, it doesn't see a connection, so it won't let me hit next, I guess, right? Is that what's going on? Oh, no. Yeah. So you then, under flashing method here, you drop this down, and you do Betaflight pass-through. And now it'll let you hit next, and now it's going to look for it. It would, if I had it plugged in, it would be showing up here. You'd click it, and then click connect, and that's the hard part. Yeah, this web flasher is just genius. That web flasher is the only reason that I can do anything with ELRS. Before that web flasher, I would always have such a hard time with ELRS. I guess not just me. Denzel the Terrible says the landing gear and bridge thingy extend and the cannons rotate and extract too. Oh my god, and retract too. That's so cool. Shit. Mr. Clean FPV just said, just wanted to say thank you. Learned everything I know about soldering from you. Started to work on my car by myself recently. Had to solder a few wires. Nice, dude. Very cool. Love that. If you ever have any soldering questions, man, please ask them. I love showing you guys how to solder. Soldering is something that, like, I learned completely from FPV, and I was terrified of when I got started in FPV. And so I absolutely love to give you guys tips and tricks and whatnot to hopefully make you less terrified of it, because there are some, like, fundamental things that once you figure out, it really kind of changes it. And after you've done a bunch of it, it's just like, oh, got it. We're just gluing metal together. Cool. But there are some fundamental things that, like, nobody really talks about, and until you know those things, soldering is a bitch, and it's a real pain in the ass. So yeah, all you guys, if you ever have any soldering questions, please ask them, and then I'll find something to solder and show it to you, because talking about it is one thing, but literally seeing it is where, you know, you'll actually be able to, like, do it confidently. I should have been removing screws this entire time. This is now going to be super boring because you're going to literally just watch me remove a bunch of screws from this fucking frame. Which is kind of silly, but hey, whatever. Whoop Fox says, okay, last part for this 2S Mobula 7. What motors do you like? 11,000 kV, 1202? Nah, you don't need 1202s. For a 2S 1.6 inch prop rig, if you want to keep it super lightweight and it's going to be like an analog-ish build, you can get away with 802, 18,000 or 19,000 kV motors, and then you just motor limit them down to like 80%. If it's going to be a little bit heavier of a build, or if you're going to pick up a digital VTX and camera setup, you're going to want to go with a 1002 or even an 1102. Again, 18,000. If you can find a 14 or 15,000, that's going to work. You can run that at 100% throttle, and you'll get the best efficiency that way. I actually really like the 18 or 19,000 kV setup, because if for some reason you want to make a shitload of power, you can just bring that motor limit up to like 90% or 95%, and it'll just tear a hole. It'll just fucking wormhole you right from behind. And, you know, everybody... Never mind. I was going to say everybody wants to be wormholed, but that's just not true. And so, yeah, there's a bunch of options for you. I really like, for my X12 lightweight analog 2S 1.6 inch prop builds, the 802, either 18 or 19,000s, I forget which they are. My God, the whole thing is so lightweight. It's incredibly agile. You can shoot like any gap that you see. The runtime is incredible. It's just so fucking good. But any of the digital any of the digital VTX camera systems are way too heavy for those 802s. The 802s are like really optimized for that super lightweight 2S analog setup. If like you're thinking like maybe down the road you'll go to a digital VTX camera setup, then just go with the 1002s or 1102s now. They absolutely rock on the analog setup. It's a little bit heavier, yeah, but it's still really, really, really good, and you'll dig it. So yeah, those are the motor options. That the 2S setup is not really picky about motors because it just makes so much power. Like just putting 2S onto a 1.6 inch prop, lightweight, tiny, even not lightweight, just in general, it's such a good match. It's just like when we went from 4S to 6S on 5-inch rigs. It's just better in every way. Like it's so much more efficient. You have all the RPM that you would ever need on the motors because you've doubled the voltage, right? Like one of the problems that we had for the longest time with these 1S 75mm setups is that nobody made motors that were a high enough kV. Well, when you double the battery voltage, that problem completely goes out the window, and now you can use any motor because all the motors are designed for 1S. And so yeah, it's really amazing. Like if any of you guys have not tried a 2S 75mm rig yet, like you really need to. It is really amazing. It is so much goddamn fun. The response time is so sharp. It's just like it really is. It's the most fun thing to fly out in front and behind your house. It's still incredibly silent, and like nobody's gonna ever talk shit for you flying it around. And then you like there's all kinds of other shit you can do with it. You can go downtown and dive bomb all the buildings in the world. Nobody's gonna say shit. You fly it right up to a security guard. He's gonna laugh and wave. And like it's got so much power and it's got so much response time that like putting it down the side of a 40-story building, it's not gonna care. It's not even gonna blink. It's really like the most amazing thing. And the fact that you can just buy a Mobula 7 ELRS 1S with the X12 and just convert that over, right? Frame swap it to the Mobula 7 V3 frame, and then go BT 3.0 and snag a couple of those 300 mAh 2S batteries off Tiny Whoop. Like, it's so easy. It's so easy. And it's just a complete fucking animal, man. Unbelievable. It makes me sad that it took so long to kind of discover that formula. A big part of the problem is that I never wanted to run a battery with an XT30, right? We didn't have a lightweight battery connector that made much sense for a Tiny Whoop. It was like, we're going to have to run these giant XT30 batteries with these stupid balance leads hanging off the side. I still wish that I had because it handles that extra weight of those batteries totally fine. But yeah, to do that setup with BT 3.0 and those 300 mAh batteries is, it's just so much fun. My God. Like, as amazing as it is to fly these lightweight 65mm 1S rigs on 702s in the house, this is the outdoor version of that. Like, the perfection that we have with like a 32,500 kV 702 and a lightweight, or even just the 2G4, and like, Cockroach V3 frame, or the Air 65 V2 frame, as like absolutely mind-blowing as that is inside the house, the 2S 75mm is that, but outdoors. And like you can crash it and you can smash into shit and you can like bounce off stuff and it'll turn mode in the grass. Like it's the whole thing, man. You're not always taking the walk of shame. You're not breaking arms or propellers or motors all that often. The motors that it comes with are only going to have 1mm motor shaft, so like, you know, run them, and then when you break them, replace them with something that's got a 1.5mm shaft for like a massive increase in durability. But yeah, I mean, right out of the box to be able to just do a frame swap and a battery lead swap, ugh, so good. And last time I checked, there were Mobula 7 1S's in stock. I don't remember where, but I remember that they were out there. So, yeah, if you guys haven't done that yet, Jesus, do it. So good. All right, 1102's plugged in. Let's get a couple of canopy screws going here. I've already got the camera and canopy on here. And then we'll put a battery through it. Oh my god, it's 11:30 already? What the hell? Whoop Fox says, what do you think of the Runcam Nano analog cams? They're my favorite. They're super lightweight. They work with this incredibly durable canopy. They're the way to go, in my opinion. I'm reading chat out of order. Hold on. I just got to get a couple of canopy screws real quick here. We got one. We got two. And three. Should I use these short ones or should I use the longer ones? I'll use these short ones. This will be fine. I've got a longer canopy screw in the front, but it looks like I've run out of that conical longer one. If you're going to put one single longer canopy screw, put it in the front because you hit the front of the canopy more often than the back. And so any pulling force is going to happen on the front. This particular canopy, though, because of how it's rounded, it's never really going to stress these out. The newbie drone, the old school newbie drone canopy that everybody used to put on their toothpicks is notorious for ripping the front post out. I actually had it happen a bunch of times. Oh, look at this though. This frame is no, it's not. I was gonna say this frame is stripped out, but it's not. I just didn't have the AIO pushed all the way down on the post. Oh, maybe it is stripped. Oh shit, it is. Nope. Hold on. What's going on here? Am I putting the screw in between the post and the rubber grommet? Oh no, I just have I have thicker. What did I do this for? I have thicker grommets on this AIO for some reason. What did I do that for? The USB port clears totally fine. I'm gonna change that. Wow, that's weird. Did I have a reason for doing that? You know what? Screw it. I have a couple more of the longer screws. I'll just run those. It'll be fine. In theory, there's a reason that I put the thicker grommets on there, and so I'll just trust my past self. I do have these slightly longer. I don't know what these are. These might be M1.2. They might be M1.4. I do have some of these. These came with, I think, Mobula 7s, come to think of it. I think the Mobula 7 might come with these thicker grommets, and then you have to run these longer screws. It's a good idea anyway, because the longer screws engage with more of the plastic post, and then it ends up being a lot stronger. You'll strip a lot less of the plastic posts out. Sorry, you'll rip. Well, no, yeah, you'll strip a lot less of them, but you'll also rip a lot less of the plastic posts off. It only really happens when you start crashing super hard outside with these things. But I mean, that is gonna happen. So what's going on right now is this screw keeps trying to go in between the plastic post and the rubber grommet. Always be careful of that. It's super easy to do that, and then the screw will just vibrate out. Come on, you bastard. There we go. Ah, stop it. The screwdriver is like just barely magnetic, but not quite magnetic enough. There we go. I wonder if this is one of the good Runcam Nano 3s. We'll know in a minute. And then the last one here. There we go. I made spaghetti and meatballs for the family for dinner tonight. It was pretty good. We get these turkey meatballs from Costco. They're actually really good. All right, there we are. And so then the question becomes, like, how tight do I make these on these rubber grommets? You wanna compress the rubber grommet a little bit, but not like that much. Oh, and look, I'm using the Whoop V antenna on this, but I want to get it just moved over one little slot here. I want it to be up in there. Yeah, there we go. Ah, shit. Well, now it's like loose. It was actually exactly where I wanted it, but I didn't even realize it. Hold on, let me see if I can mash it back over. So this is the TrueRC Whoop V antenna. It is extremely lightweight, but every time I've tried to use it so far, it's vibrated like absolute crazy. Right now, it is wedging itself in between the positive and negative battery leads. I assume that it's not conductive, but I'm not going to make an ass out of you and me, and so I just pushed it over. And so now it's kind of in the middle of the canopy here. We'll see. I'm probably going to end up taking that out of there, but I did pay for it, so I do want to try to use it at least. But I have a feeling it's going to act up again. It's incredibly lightweight. It's only 0.2 of a gram, so it's lighter weight than the ORT Micro V. Speaking of ORT Micro Vs, I have more black, more white, and the new red, yellow, and blue coming in 46 millimeters with the extra shrimp wrap. Sorry. So that's super exciting for all of you color coordination nerds like me. This is my favorite new prop puller from Weebleed. And so, whoa. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no! I broke it! Oh, shit. No! I tightened it a little bit too hard and it broke. Oh, farts. This was my favorite new prop puller from Weebleed. Oh, man. This is my other favorite prop puller from tinywhoop.com. This is the clone popper. This is going to be a little bit difficult to use, because the motors aren't bolted down. But in theory, I've drilled these propellers out, so it shouldn't be that hard to get this thing pushed in between the motor bell and the hub of the propeller. The reason why that just broke on me is that's a pre-production one that Zotac told me the threads were a little bit boogered up on. But he sent it to me forever ago to just kind of try it out. And so I had been trying to clear the threads out by like really over tightening it. And so it really does not surprise me that, and just now I cranked that a little too hard, and that's when it broke. So if you buy one of those, it'll be fine. This head here threaded on there totally fine with no resistance. Where it broke is right in the middle of the threads because I cranked on it way too hard. This pushed up against that and it just yanked that right out of there. So yeah, if you buy one of those, you won't have that problem. If you do have that problem, I'm sure Zotac will replace it. I'm not sure that he'll replace it, but I'll bet you he'll replace it. But you won't have that problem because you won't be cranking on it like I have been to try to clean those threads out. So there we go. All right, and I am going to have to get these motors spinning the right direction. They are absolutely not going to be correct, so we'll put it into Betaflight in a second, but let's throw these props on. Since it's just a tiny whoop, we don't have to worry about having the props on when we do that. In the motors tab, these propellers are super easy for me to put on because I have drilled them out with my 1.46 millimeter drill bit, so that I don't damage the motors and so that I can take them off and on very easily. Let's get a weight comparison of BetaFPV 1102s versus Weebleed 802 tree toppers. These two rigs are completely identical. Same frame, same canopy, same camera, same super lightweight antenna, same AIO. Different props, Gemfan 1610s on here, HQ Ultralights on here. The heavier build with the 1102 motors is 27.3 grams. The lighter build with the 802, wow, what a difference, 23.1, Jesus. 23.1 versus 27.3, my God, man. What a difference. I didn't expect it to be that big. The HQ Ultralight props on this lighter weight setup make a lot of sense because it's got the smaller 802 motors. The indestructible 1610 props on these big beefy 1102 motors make a lot of sense, right? Damn, dude. What's that, 4 grams? 4 point something grams difference? That's quite a bit. That's a gram a motor. I mean, it makes sense. It's an 802 versus an 1102, right? It's not an 802 versus a 902. It's not an 802 versus a 1002. Betaflight configurator coming up. Let me try to get caught up on chat here. Jason Levin says, I just built 2 whoops, a 1.4 with Weebleed Screamer 32,500s, another with 27,000 VCI lights, and the VCI with lower KV are extremely touchy, yet have lower KV. Yeah, every motor manufacturer uses a slightly different method of measuring KV. Weebleed, Tiny Whoop, Happy Model, their method of measuring KV gives them a number that's really high. Everybody else's method gives them a number that's low. So you can't compare the KV of a motor of one brand versus another brand in Tiny Whoop land. It's super annoying. Those Weebleeds at 32,500 versus VCI at 27,000, they're going to be roughly the same KV. They're going to give you roughly the same amount of power, I should say. Well, that's the same statement. All right. Let's get this guy plugged in, get these motors spinning the right direction, and then I'll struggle bust this thing around the house for a minute or two. Oh, this one's got a pink 180 degree bing bong. Motor direction. I understand the risks. The propellers are definitely removed. Start and spin. Motor number 1 is backwards. Let's see if this will reverse it. Hey, it did. Motor 2 is correct. Motor 3 is going to be correct. Motor 4 is going to be incorrect. It is indeed. Click it to reverse it. Stop motors. Close. I understand the risks. Pull the master up a little bit and just double check. Motor 2 is correct. Motor 1 is correct. Motor 3 is correct. Motor 4 is correct. Awesome. All right. 12 motor poles. That's good. D-shot 300. Motor idle 10%. The motors are sitting here twitching, so I'm going to move this up to 12%. Oh. We're going to back out of Betaflight. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start using the dynamic idle. So I'm going to put this dynamic idle to 40. I'm going to take a guess. That's probably going to be too low. Okay, dynamic idle is on. And so here's the right way to do this. You unplug the USB, you fire up your transmitter, and you arm it. And then you plug the USB back in, because it won't be right. In this case, I just know it's going to be too low. There's the LRS beeping. There's a connection. Yep. And they're just... Unplug the battery. Plug the USB back in. Actually, I'm just going to leave the battery plugged in. This will be fine. It won't get too hot or anything. Come back in here. PID tuning. Dynamic idle. Let's go up to 60. Save it. Disconnect. Do I have to unplug the USB? No, I don't. Look at that. 2 motors fired up. The other 2 are still twitching. Connect. Boy, is this nice to do it this way. 80. These 75mm rigs on 1S. This is just a part of the game. It's super annoying. Let me unplug USB to make sure that the flight controller resets. Plug the battery back in. Blow on this thing. I can feel it getting hot and smell it. There we go. Arm it. Come on. Nope, still twitching. Plug it back in. If I remember correctly, I have to go up to 120. I'm going to just do it. 120. Save. Disconnect. Unplug battery. Unplug USB. If this doesn't do it, I'm going to go into the ESC configurator and make sure that the startup values are turned up all the way. Arm it. Nope, not yet. Arm it. Still twitching. Let's go into ESC configurator and just check it. ESCconfigurator.com requires battery power, so we're going to plug in USB. We're going to put a battery on here. We're going to go to connect, and then we're going to go to read settings. And so this has BlueJay 0.16, and it does have the minimum and maximum startup power maxed out. Let's actually try this, though. Reverse normal, normal reversed. We're going to go flash all ESCs, BlueJay, ZH30, don't touch those. We're going to put this on version 0.21. PWM frequency is always 48 and flash. 0.21 of BlueJay works really well, arguably as good as the magical 0.16 version, but the minimum and maximum startup powers are more aggressive, so I can probably get this thing to stop twitching by just cranking these min and max startup powers up. I might have to crank them all the way up, but it doesn't matter. You just need the motors to not twitch like this. Sporny says, can I solder on a proper ILRS antenna to my flight controller instead of the flimsy wire antenna? Absolutely. Project Mockingbird says, are there 3-hole 1202s? There are not. Not that I've ever seen, at least. I love the Mobulate frame can do both 3 and 4 holes. Yeah, it's true. You Can Have TV says, Flywoo makes an analog 2S board. Do they really? That's awesome, because the Flywoo boards are great. There we go. We are now on version 0.21. I'm not going to max these, but I'm going to turn them up most of the way. So I'm going to do 1100 and 1240. Right settings. You know what's interesting? This thing did not protest to being connected to ELRS with the transmitter turned on. Power. And let's arm it and see what happens. Still twitching. I'll be damned. All right, so let's max the startup powers up in ESC config, in BlueJ rather. Okay. All right, so we'll crank those all the way up. I'm going to put, yeah, motor timing is on medium. That's great. It saved all my other settings, so that's awesome. We're going to write settings. And there we go. We'll disconnect. Come in here. Oh, well. Ah, shit. Let's try this one more time. Let's just make sure. That probably did not raise it enough for these to not twitch, but let's just try anyway. Yeah, still twitching. Let's just keep cranking up that digital idle. Dynamic idle, rather. Let's try 160. All right. Unplug. Pull power. Reset the AIO. Come on. Jesus, still twitching. I might not be able to use the digital idle on this. I might have to use the old school motor idle adjustment. Because I think the dynamic idle maxes at 200, doesn't it? Let's try 220. Will it let me? Nope. Yeah, it maxes out at 200. So I don't think I'm going to be able to use this, but let's just try it at 200. Stupid 1S 75mm rigs. Yep, still twitching. So I can't use the dynamic idle. That's annoying. Plug it back in, connect. And so what we need to do is turn the dynamic idle off. We do that by zeroing it and then hitting save. And that will turn the regular motor idle back on here. I think we tried 12. Let's go up to 16. Save and reboot. Unplug. Replug. This should do it. There it is. And now that's actually a little too high. Let me back it down to 14. Hopefully that's perfect. I don't need to have power hooked up to it for this. Connect, motors, motor idle, 14, tab, save and reboot. This should be good to go. I'm so confident that I'm going to put the battery into the battery bay and we're going to fly this thing. Grab a fresh Lava 450 mAh battery for this. And let's see what's what with these 1102s. Fat Shark's on the floor with freshly charged battery. Oh, no, we want this facing over there. Oh my God, the dog is so sad. Look at him. He's so sad that his haircut looks terrible. Look at that. Damn. Oh my God, it's too hot. 170 is ridiculous. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yep, now they're spinning. I might be able to turn it down to 12. Oh, you know what? I can do it in the OSD, can't I? Let's find out. Features. Is it in power? Nope. It's in profile. Is it in MISC PP? Nope. Is it in rate? Nope. Where the hell is it? Filter PP? No. Rate profile 1, right? I'm pretty sure it's in here somewhere. Black box, VTX, LED strip, power, failsafe, persistent stats. It's in MISC, isn't it? There it is. Digital idle. Let's move this down to 120. Whoa. Exit and reboot. Oh my god, it's so hot. Come on. Let's just get it in the air. Get it cooled off. Woo, 190. Easy, fella. Oh my god, it feels like shit. Oh god, there's no power. Oh, this is horrible. I thought this flew okay with these 1102s. Maybe it's only in the 75 Pro frame. Oh, this feels awful. Oh shit. This is... Ooh, gross. Let me fix that idle. Come back in here. Where was it? MISC? Yeah, MISC. Digital idle. Oh, it didn't save it. What the hell? Right? Oh, I hit exit and reboot, not save and reboot. Okay. This isn't going to help it. Yeah, these motors don't make enough... These motors don't make enough kV for these propellers. The motors are spinning good now, though. Oh, this feels awful. Oh my god, and it's all heavy and... Ugh, gross. Oh god, so fat. Watch this. Oh, just... Okay, this was a big fat fail. I'm gonna try to put a triblade on here. Because this is horrible. Oh boy. Yikes. Alright, hold on. Not encouraging. Jeez. Okay, hold on. Hold on. See, this is stupid. Like, I'm gonna put triblades... Well, no, these motors do have enough grunt for the triblades. But I don't like the way that these fly on the triblades. We're building these for outside, and you want some slidiness outside. But, just for the sake of argument, I've got a set of Gemfan 1611 triblades. Let's throw these on real fast, just to kind of see. And I am behind on chat. This is a perfect opportunity to get caught up here. So, hold up. Striker says the issue, unfortunately, is that the record is relatively uncontested for 1S right now. No one cares, but I'm gonna start a top speed war with my friends, and hopefully people might care. It's mainly just a competition with my friends for fun. Nice. Wolfox says, what you think of... Oh, no, we got that. Striker also says, also, are the 12 amp FETs on the Racespec V2 AIO actually 12 amp? I have no idea, but I bet you if you ask Newbie Drone, they'll tell you. I mean, if they're... I doubt that they would lie. Can I run a 3-inch 1S on them? Maybe. I mean, 12 amps times 4 is 48 amps. I doubt that you could ever find a motor that would pull 48 amps on 1S. I don't know what the hell battery you're going to run. You're going to need to find like 1,000 mAh 1S battery. Otherwise, it's just going to sag down to Chinatown. I gotta be honest with you, dude. You're gonna do a lot of work, and you're gonna have to buy a lot of stuff. For what? You know what I mean? It's not gonna fly good. It's the response time is like 1S is super limited, and so like you're gonna end up with something that flies horrendously bad. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's gonna be really heavy because you're gonna be trying to make all this power, but then it's gonna sag so bad. Like it's yeah. It's only going to be able to do like this one thing, and you're going to have to spend a whole bunch of time and money trying to figure out the parts to kind of do that. You know? Like if people were like actually paying attention and there was like a bunch of interest in it, it would be one thing. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't go down that road because it's like, you know, who cares? But again, that's just me. If it's fun and if you have the money, go for it. But you're gonna have to test a whole bunch of stuff to try to get that figured out because it's none of the stuff that we like have right now is gonna be right for that. And yeah, the 1S is just gonna be so unbelievably bad. It's just such a low voltage. So this is now these GemFan triblades, and they are not balanced. They make... Okay, they make a little bit more power, but not a lot of extra power. And they are out of balance, right out of the box, right out of the bag. Yeah, there is lots of jello that wasn't there a minute ago. So, yeah, GemFan 1611 triblades are no good. I'm actually going to write on the package, out of balance. No, I'm going to write not balanced. Not balanced. Not much thrust. Okay. I thought that I remembered these props not being good, but it's been a while since I've tried them. Really, in 1.6-inch prop, the only good ones from my memory are the GemFan 1610s, which are super durable and awesome, but they're fairly low pitch, which is the problem that I'm having here with these motors being low kV. And the HQ Ultralights. I believe there's an HQ Ultralight tri-blade though, and that'll probably wake this thing up. That's what we're gonna try next. All right, so let's put these away. I'm actually going to I'm gonna put these all the way away so that I don't try to run them again, because props that are out of balance are just worthless. Like there's, you know, don't balance propellers on rigs that you're going to crash. That is a terrible way to spend your life. So I've got actually two different 1.6-inch HQ Ultralight tri-blades. These are 1.6 by 1. These are the propellers from the iFlight Defender. And then the normal ones are just called 40 millimeter, but I believe these are 1.1 pitch. I believe if you look at the blade of the propeller, it tells you that they're 1.1 pitch. Let's see. Yep. Yep, 1.6 by 1.1 by 3. So you can find these iFlight Defender props, but don't. There's absolutely no reason to run a lower pitch tri-blade here. I don't think I've actually run these HQ tries. This will be kind of cool. I've been a little bit curious about these. These did not come out super long ago. We are going to run them down the 1.46mm drill bit at least once to make sure that I can get them onto the motors without ruining the motors. And then this will also make sure that I can get them off of the motors. These are dropping down this 1.46mm drill bit pretty easily. Easily enough that you probably actually don't need to drill these out. I'll tell you in 1 second, though, when I put it on this motor. No, yeah, you do need to drill them out. I'm actually going to pass these down the drill bit one more time. I had to push a little bit too hard to get that prop to bottom out on that motor. That one propeller is going to be a real bitch to get off. Next one here. We are props in, so this guy's going to go on motor number 1. Let's see if this is any better after 2 passes down the drill bit. I do sell these drill bits on my Etsy store, which is linked over on CiottiFPV.com. These 0.99mm and 1.46mm drill bits will literally pay for themselves the second that you don't wreck a motor. These Tiny Whoop motors are $10 each, basically. The drill bits are $5 each. All right, HQ Ultralight tri-blades. These will probably be good. These will probably wake this right on up. This battery is almost dead, but let's just see real quick. Well, we've got a little bit more thrust, but this still feels horrible. This sucks. This was a waste of time. I would need like a quad blade, but then with a quad blade, the propeller is going to be too heavy and the response time is going to suck. The response time already kind of sucks. Oh my god. And it's just impossibly heavy. So it's like really not fun to fly inside the house. Jesus, man. I blipped the throttle 2 times to try to get it to not hit the side of that cube. And it still hit it. Yeah, this sucks. Alright, so yeah, these 1102s, I'm not even going to bother to fly this outside because I can already tell that these 1102s on 1.6-inch props, it's not the move. I'm going to move this directly to the 75 Pro frame. Wow, because that's the only scenario where this setup makes any sense. Yeah, this just doesn't make shit for power. And the response time is trash. Sneak up on it. Wow. Alright, well, check this out. I'm going to put a battery through the rig with the tree toppers. It is so much better from what I remember. 4 grams lighter, 11,000 extra kV. Now we're on to biblades, HQ Ultralight biblades. And so the response time is going to be better. Oh my god, yeah. Whoops. Still heavy. It's, you know, it still doesn't make sense to fly 75mm rigs inside the house. But, oh, that hit hard. think I heard it throw a propeller. Sure did. Ooh, that hit really hard. Boy, is that so much more realistic. Oh, God. Yeah. Motor number 3 threw a propeller. And it probably broke the propeller because I hit the ground so hard, so I'm not even going to bother looking for it. I'm just going to grab another one. Yeah, okay. So this was easy. And for the record, from what I remember, on the Meteor 75 Pro frame, is not going to be much better, if any better. That frame is really heavy, and yes, it makes more power on that propeller, but the only propeller option is an HQ Ultralight. With all that extra weight, when you crash, those propellers explode, and so this was a giant waste of time. I am going to move that rig onto that frame, though, and I'm going to leave it in that frame because I do kind of want to compare the runtime differences between these two. But this is the way to go. If you're going to build a 75mm rig, the tree toppers are absolutely the way to go. For 1S. For 2S, you look at this dog, man. Whoa. An angry boy. Yeah, these tree topper motors are so much better than any other motor for 1S 1.6-inch props. It's kind of insane. I don't know what was done to make these motors so much better than all the other ones that I've ever run. But boy, it's real. Oh! Oh my god! Man, it is so hard to fly heavy stuff in close quarters. Oh god, man, come on! I'm trying so hard. I'm like, this is like max concentration to try to deal with all this extra weight. Jesus. I got there. Ah, come on, man. Nope, shallow. Oh, come on now. Yeah, this isn't really fun, if I'm honest. It's like the response time is very similar to the 1.4-inch setups, but then this is so much heavier. Like the 1.4-inch builds, like I've always said, you got to keep them light. It has to be 702s, and you really want to run, like, you don't want to run a 2G4 AIO. That's too heavy. You want to run one of the lighter weight AIOs, like the Mobile 6 2024 Super X or one of the Air 65 AIOs. Because the bigger Meteor 65 Pro frame and the bigger 1.4-inch props both make it heavier. And you're losing response time with those heavier props. And so when the rig is heavier and you lose that response time, it becomes really not fun to fly. And this is the inside the house, and this is like the next level of that. Like, The response time is not as bad, but this is just so much heavier. Actually, you know what? This is a really cool comparison. I've never compared a 75 1.6 to a 65 1.4. This is actually a perfect little comparison point here. So I'm going to grab the less powerful Air75 1.4-inch build, and we're going to run a 300 mAh battery through it. So you're going to see the same sort of softness, but not... Well, let's just see. Let's just see. I've never actually done this back-to-back. This is super cool. Let's see here. Oops. Yeah, so the response time is better. It's not that much better, but it's better. You see how much more crisp it is? This is so much more fun. Oops. See the difference? Oh! Hey! And I'm not even really used to these 1.4-inch builds at the moment. I've been flying more 1.2. Yeah, so much more realistic for flying inside the house, if you want to do cool stuff. Woo! That was pretty cool. Oh. Fucking coffee table, you're so low. I'm gonna put longer legs on this coffee table. I'm gonna put longer legs on this dog. Look how silly this dog looks. His dick and lack of balls are also way more prominent when he's all shaved down like this. And I don't want to get in trouble with the FCC. Teddy! Oh my god! Speaking of, I almost gave him a secondary haircut. Wow. I thought that they would be more similar to one another. They're not. That is a huge difference. I'll be damned. That's wild. Jeez. Okay. Good to know. This is flyable in the house. It's not... I wouldn't call it fun. This is not. These 1102s are just way too low of a KV for a 1.6-inch prop. You don't have enough... you don't have... I mean, the response time is there. You know what's interesting? It has good response time, but it doesn't make enough power. If just because the motor spins up quick enough, that's not the whole story. It has to have enough power to actually push, right? And so, like, with these 1102s on these 1.6-inch props, we have that exact scenario where the motor is able to speed up and slow down the propeller really quickly, but then it's not able to crank it enough to make enough actual thrust to move the damn thing. So the PID loop looks like shit, it's wobbling all over the place, and it just feels like crap. I hammer the throttle or I jam the stick over, and yeah, it starts spinning the propellers really early and really quick, but then it doesn't push hard enough because they're too low of a KV and there's not enough propeller on there. So these 1102 22,000s really just, they need to be on the bigger 75 Pro frame with the bigger props. But when I've done that in the past, I don't like it because that frame is really heavy. and those propellers are kind of fragile. So I am not going to have two 1S 75mm builds. I'm just going to have this one on the tree toppers because this is the only one that really flies good. I think I'm still going to put this onto the 75 Pro frame just for the sake of giving it one last try. At that point, I'm either going to sell that build. For a lot of people, a lot of people actually love the 1S Meteor 75 Pro setup. And you know what? For cruising around the neighborhood, it's actually kind of fun. I remember when I had that set up at Castle Crash last year, I had a blast just like cruising really fast around Castle Crash. But it's not for me. I want more ability to go zero throttle and throw it up over stuff. And that means lighter all-up weight, higher KV. Which is what the tree toppers give me. So yeah, interesting little revisit of 1S 75mm rigs. At some point, somebody will come out with another motor that makes sense for these builds, and I'll give that a shot. But for right now, yeah, I'm going to take this thing apart. And you know what? This AIO will not work in the 75 Pro frame. The 75 Pro frame, that's the other problem with the 75 Pro frame, is that you can't run a normal sized AIO. So I'm actually not going to test that. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We did the thing that I said that we were going to do. Yeah, that's right. I always forget that about the 75 Pro frame. So yeah, like what I would need to do is take apart one of these 1.4 builds that have the cut down smaller AIOs, and I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Let me get caught up on chat and then we'll shut this mother down. Oh yeah, Bernard Fox says use your gangly fan. That's right. Holy shit. Sporny says, what antenna could I buy to replace the flimsy wire? I have no idea what to look for with antennas. I don't know of any 2.4 gig antennas that are for sale that aren't just the flimsy wires. I don't have any problem with those flimsy wires. I've put those flimsy wire antennas out on ELRS like a half a mile. You do want to... Newbie Drone sells just the wires, and I've used them a bunch. But yeah, what you're looking for is a 2.4 gigahertz antenna. Tokyo Dom's in the house. What's up, brother? He says, in a previous stream you said that the 1102s make the most power with GemFan quad blades. It's a lot of motor for bi or even triblades. Yeah, but this is my bag of 1.6 inch props. I don't have any quads in here. Is there a 1.6 inch quad blade? But see, again, with a 1.6 inch quad blade, that propeller is going to be so heavy that it's going to lose response time. Also, I don't want that amount of grip. I don't want that much grip from these. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. You're right though. But yeah, I don't even know if those props exist. UCanFPV says, wouldn't 0802s be better at 1159? Yep, I just showed you that. You were ahead of me. Tokyo Dom says, pretty much every GemFan 3-blade I've used recently has been out of balance. You can see it on a mechanical pencil lead. Pretty obvious imbalance. Yeah, I've unfortunately had the same experience. Trigger says, it's going to be dog shit, but hey, good AIO is a good AIO when I'm reusing all the parts. Yeah. Do wish it was more relevant because tiny thing go fast is cool. I'll take your word for it. Whoop Fox says, I see you slow down before a power loop. Is that to help line up your shot? No, it's so that I don't have to power loop, you're going forward and then you got to go backwards. So if you can slow down a little bit, then you're going to go backwards farther. If you come bombing into a power loop, you have to hammer. All right, so if you come bombing into a power loop like this, you're going to have to go full throttle. And so you're going to have this moment where you're just looking straight up for a longer period of time, and that's kind of ugly. I like the look of coming in, flattening out, so that it's more of like an actual loop. If you come bombing into a power loop, here's what it looks like. It looks like this, and then this, and then this. And it doesn't look as good, in my opinion, as coming in, cooking off some of the speed, throwing it up like this, more like a circle. It's just a better looking power loop, in my opinion, which is why I do that. So that you're not just looking straight up going, yeah. Make sense? Ben Kennedy says, I lose the ability to arm my drones when I connect to Velocidrone. Can anyone please help? The last time I had to erase and reboot everything in my radio Master Zorro. I've never heard of that. I don't even know where to start with that. What is that about? CiottiFPV says he almost got neutered again. CiottiFPV also says, what if the 1102 was 32,000 kV? It would be insane. It would be really, really good. But it's not. Ben Kennedy, that is super weird, dude. I legitimately have no idea where to even... Here's what you do. You buy one of these for $18 and you use this in the sim. Yeah, brother, I have no clue. I've never heard of anything even remotely like that. You know what you can try? Make a separate model on your transmitter for the sim, which is a good idea anyway, because in that model you turn off the RF. You turn off the internal RF module, and then it'll make the battery last longer. That's something you can try. That's weird, brother. Contact Radio Master about that. They might be able to help you out. CiottiFPV also says, I actually do love my Meteor 7504 for just cruising around, but I think I'm going to take the 04 out and put in something 2S. You'll like it so much more, dude. You can still cruise around. WJFPV with another last-minute $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. I on the beginning of this live stream, I thanked you for the $10 super chat on the last live stream that came through after I was already wrapped. So thank you for that one. Thank you for this one, man. Very cool of you. CiottiFPV says, I wish Happy Model had plug-and-play bind and flies that only need the 04 like BetaFPV does. Yeah, that would be cool. And Tokyo Dom with the last comment of the live stream, he says, GemFan 1609 is a 40mm quad blade. Really? You actually thrust tested them in the past, and they had a silly amount of power in 1102s. I bought them based on that, but yes, heavy prop. Where do I have those? Oh, yeah, right. Yep. The old school Gem fans. Yeah, right. They're just too heavy. They're just too heavy and too grippy. CH3FPV is looking for a 1303 for a 4S build with naked GoPro. Do a 1404 instead. With naked GoPro, that's going to add a good amount of weight. You want a 1404. And there's a ton of 1404 options. The T-Motor 1404 4600s are genius. Thanks for hanging, friends. Here comes some more Castle Crash, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. No stream on Friday. I'll see you Sunday. I won't have results from this because I can't put these into the frame with this AIO. We'll do something totally different on Sunday. Love you guys. Bye. I'm not ready. Thanks for hanging, people. CiottiFPV.com to support me. I do need your support to keep doing this full time. Love you. Bye.